Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Amy.
And I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be discussing Promise Me This by Hannah Bird.
The first few minutes we're going to do a brief review of this story without any spoilers, then we are going to shift into a deeper book discussion. It's going to include lots of spoilers, but don't worry, as always, we're going to let you know before we do shift into that deeper book discussion.
That's right. So before we jump in, Amy, tell us what this story is all about.
A second chance romance about a young woman who makes a promise to a guy she fell in love with while studying abroad in Ireland that she would return to him after she graduates university. She doesn't return until 12 years later, and she brings with her regret and secrets of a lost child he never knew about. This is an emotional story about forgiveness, grief, and second chances. Sarah, what did you think about Promise Me This?
The story is so moving, and I was emotional throughout because it hit on a personal level for me, being able to relate to these characters. I love how the author depicts the journey of healing through this process, of what the character's going through and the grief process for her. And I love the kind of the second chance, the reconciliation kind of, I guess, if you will, with these characters. The story was just really moving and really beautiful. What did you think?
It was emotional. It was beautiful. It was a story that definitely took me on a roller coaster of ups and downs. It is a tough subject matter for me as well, but I really, really liked that it was a raw and a real depiction of what these characters would most likely go through, and that really moved me.
It was very authentic,
yes.
and it felt genuine in how that is how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into our ratings.
Okay.
Angst.
I did this at 2.5.
I was close. I did 3.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say you could probably bump it up higher, but I think there were certain aspects of it as I was reading, I just didn't feel overly angsty on a level that, I don't know.
There's some emotional weight to this story,
Absolutely.
and that's kind of what bumped it up pushed up the angst level for me. All right, humor.
Humor, 0.75.
I was much higher than you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, remind me, because I just remember crying a lot.
So I gave it a 2, and that may be a little bit high, but there were some laugh out loud moments. There are some characters that bring some really much needed humor, which I'm going to talk about in the deeper discussion, so maybe that will trigger your memory. It's higher than a 0.5, I feel. Now, don't get me wrong.
I said 0.75.
Or 0.7. Don't get me wrong. There's some emotional components to it, but there's some humor.
I do remember having some chuckling moments. I have to say, I was just more emotional through this. This story was very raw for me.
Yeah, I get that. All right, spiciness.
I gave it a 2.
Me too. We tied.
See,
we're
on the same page. We know what we're doing. We're connected. Everybody calm down.
All right, tears.
Tears, 4.
I did 3.5, so I was very close to you on that. The subject matter is very emotional.
Yes.
It's very heavy. Mm-hmm. I definitely cried in this story multiple times.
You need to read the trigger warnings if you don't know what this is about. You need to read it before you dive in and see if that's something you can even. Because I was on the fence with it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, overall.
This was a 4.5. This story is just.
I gave it a 5.
It could, I should bump it to a 5.
It's loved so good. The emotional connection of this story. The raw moments just felt very real, and it captivated me. And that really, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks since I've finished this book, and I cannot stop thinking about it.
I think about it a lot. There was an aspect to it, I think, that was a 4.5 for me. But yeah, it's a moving story. It's really beautiful. She did a beautiful job with it.
I agree.
I love it.
All right, that concludes the spoiler-free quick review of this story. We're going to shift into a deeper book discussion. If you would like to continue on that journey with us, simply click the link below. You can also open any podcast platform and simply search Post-Book Depression. We would love to connect with you on social media. You can find us on Instagram at Post-Book Depression Podcast, on Facebook in our Post-Book Depression discussion group. You can also email us at postbookdepressionpodcast@gmail.com.